DK Bold is my dad, and you're watching The Bold Report.
Welcome to The Bold Report. I'm DK Bold in today's Wall Street Journal Brief. On the front page, and actually throughout most of this newspaper, it seems that the struggling economy takes center stage. However, slight good news, big banks are loosening their lending standards. Now, you would hope that this would be great news and would help out the economy and help out businesses everywhere. The challenge is that this is only the bigger banks. Smaller banks are not necessarily participating, and so therefore that's not a play. And the other challenge is that banks are still scrutinizing their lenders very, very tightly. So if you're a good borrower, then you got banks fighting for you. It's a frenzy, and you can probably get fantastic rates. The challenge is if you or your business have any credit hiccups or challenges or small blemishes, well, the story is not quite so pretty. So definitely a challenge in the banking world, and this story is going to also reflect on the last section as well. You'll see in just a moment. Moving on, voters are backing basically tougher steps to reduce the budget deficit. Now, I grabbed this story for a specific reason, mostly because it's an interesting play on what the Wall Street Journal is actually reporting on. Basically, voters, and this was out of a Richmond, Virginia area that had taken a survey, or actually had come in and basically kind of been part of a study group. And there were 4 independents, 4 Republicans, and 4 Democrats, and they got responses from each of them. And what was interesting is out of this cross-section of voters, it was a common theme that the voters had great ideas of making cutbacks. They were willing to pay more taxes, potentially cut their own budgets, as well as even pay more in medical services, such as Medicare services for visits, as well as for pharmaceutical products. Yet what was absent from much of this was any comments about the government and them cutting back on their spending and them sticking to a budget and not raising taxes or anything like that. So I found the whole article quite interesting in the kind of the political foray. And the common theme at the end of it was that for the most part, there doesn't seem to be a big issue or a big blame between whether it's Republicans or Democrats. Everyone is equal. I disagree vehemently in this, but I'll leave my personal opinions out of this report. Moving on to the marketplace. Well, this is something you probably didn't plan to see anywhere anytime soon. You have suntan lotion, flip-flops, and a flu shot. Sure enough, the struggling economy is hitting drugstores as well, as less people are going to the doctor and less people are therefore then getting drugs. And when you're not in the drugstore, you're not buying all those other extra things, makeup and whatnot, that you buy at the drugstore. As such, they have launched a significant campaign. In fact, I even saw it just today on my gallon of milk that we had recently bought, a big sticker saying, "Come into the grocery store to get your flu shot." Now, this is earlier even than what the CDC, the Centers for Disease, had even predicted or had even suggested. They normally have this set up for the flu season in October. They had actually bumped it up to September, just on the cautionary side, not exactly sure why. But the drugstores have taken it upon themselves, and as a marketing play and to help drive revenues, starting to have the shots here as early as August prior to Labor Day. Now the shots range from $25 to $30, and it could definitely be a boost. I'm curious and would love your opinion. Do you get a flu shot? What's your thoughts on it? Also, last but not least, in money and investing, view cloudy as Dow declines for the 5th straight day. Now this rolls right back into our front page story of the fact that banks and lending and that whole issue. What's interesting is stocks remain little change with the lowest volume, lightest volume of the year so far. And this is not uncommon for this time of year, where you have low volumes, but it's still a little touch and go because investors are looking for any subtle signs of recovery. Now, tech stocks is still a good play and still a good place to be as they continue to grow. And I have friends in the technology world that tell me that, hey, they're still selling stuff and people are buying. But what it really comes back to is there's a lack of demand. And the lack of demand is that there's a lack of demand for loans for both consumers, for mortgages or those kinds of things, as well as for commercial real estate, buildings, improvements, those kind of things. So with this lack of demand, there's nothing then driving kind of the money trail throughout Wall Street. It's a challenging environment and a challenging economy. And as our front page story on the voters, it will be interesting to see how November plays out for both Republicans and Democrats. Until then, best wishes to you and your business. And as always, find your passions. Take care.